A new settlement had been built just north of Lake Wawinosh, the first commune in Canada, the first English-speaking settlement along the lake in Lambton County. It is the new town of Maxwell. Henry Jones, founder of this new town, stands quietly at the edge of Lake Huron, watching a ship approach from the west. Waiting, he thinks back 3 years to when it all began. A retired Navy purser, I wanted to go to Canada and build a community in which all were equal and all shared equally. A town where everyone, young or old, would have a place and purpose in the community. After visiting a similar city in Scotland, I journeyed to Upper Canada with Alexander Hamilton, my valet and traveling companion. We found an ideal spot, a heavily forested area along the south shoreline of Lake Huron, next to a river our French guide told us was known as La Rivière au Perche, flowing from a shallow lake we were told was called Lake Wawinosh. The air here seemed to be literally alive with wild ducks and passenger pigeons, likely attracted here by the marshy ground all around the lake. No doubt an ideal breeding ground for many fish, animals, and birds. I immediately knew that this was the place for my new colony, the first one in the Americas to be self-sufficient, a community of unity and cooperation existing for the good of all its residents. With a land grant for 10,000 acres here on the shore of Lake Huron, I've returned, accompanied by 14 good Scottish families, a group of 30 adults and 44 children, all willing to be a part of the plans to begin a new way of life here in Canada. With me as well are Alexander Hamilton and my 3 sons. About 2 hours after we'd finished erecting temporary shelters, 3 men who had set out to look for fresh food returned, exclaiming, "This is indeed a land of plenty. Look here, we have fish from the creek, birds from the air, and greens from the land." A second man jumped in, excitement in his voice. "Why, the fish were almost jumping out of the water, begging us to take them. And the air was so thick with pigeons. There were so many they were bumping into each other and falling out of the air right into our hands." Then the third man spoke. "With the Lord's help and that of you, Mr. Jones, we have indeed been brought to a wonderful place to call home. Good sir, on behalf of each and every one of us, man, woman, and child, I offer to you our heartfelt thanks for bringing us to this wondrous place. We have water, we have food aplenty, and we have the forest and land hereabout to build our new home and plant crops." This brought forth a spurt of voices shouting, "Hear, hear! Cheers for Mr. Jones." The happy voices continued until I held up my hand and spoke. "Good friends, as I told you several months ago back in Scotland, we will establish right here in this land, so like the Eden we know from our Bibles, a community based on unity and cooperation. We will name our new town Maxwell. I invite each one of you to bow your head and in your own thoughts thank our good Lord for bringing us this day to this new land of plenty." For the next few minutes, the only sounds heard were the gentle lapping of the waves, the sweet notes of nearby birds, and the buzzing ring of insects. Then I spoke again. "Now, good folks, we have shelter for tonight and we have food and water. Let us join together to see that all are fed before the sun sets. Then we must all get a good rest so that we can start in earnest on the morrow to build our Toon of Maxwell." It has been a hard 2 years, but our communal building is up. The outbuildings are complete. Land has been cleared. Crops have been planted. It is time for my family to be reunited. I wrote to my wife 3 months ago advising her to sell our assets in England and book passage for her, her sister, and our 3 daughters to Maxwell. They are almost here. Tomorrow, Henry Jones's daughter will tell us about her trip from Scotland to Upper Canada.